So that's where it comes down to becoming an expert in your area. You need to know what the highest and best use is, what's the demand, and then you work it all backwards from there. So if you're looking at a development and the options are multifamily, residential, single family, or attached, or just flipping the land as is or entitled, then your options are going to be to run the numbers, figure out what's it worth as a multifamily project on an income basis with the prevailing cap rates in the area. What's the value of that asset when it's complete, built, leased up? What does that value bring to the marketplace? What are people willing to pay for that asset when it's done? Then you work it backwards, subtract your construction cost, your cost of capital, your cost of land, all of that, and then you'll have your profit number. Then you want to do the same thing with single family or with townhouses. If you're doing a build for sale product, if you're merchant developing and you're going to sell the product, then you want to do the same thing. What's it going to sell for ultimately? Back out all your costs of the sale, all your cost to build, your cost of capital, the whole 9 yards, and you've got a net profit number. And then you look at the land. Okay, what can I get if I develop it and sell it? Same thing. What's it going to bring? Net income. What is your net profit going to be after all the costs of development? And then without developing it, just fully entitled, flipped, what is that going to net you? And then you have to decide, where are you in your investment cycle? Are you patient? If you're going to develop it, take it vertical, then you have to be patient. You need patient capital, and you need to be willing to take the risk of a market cycle turning during the process of that project and how long it takes. If you need cash, then maybe you want to flip the land once it's entitled, or maybe you want to go ahead and develop it and flip the lots, because that's going to be a quicker path, although in some areas it could take a long time just to get the development done, whereas the entitlement process could take 3-6 months, even a year or more in some areas. So it's all about your cash position, your investment position. Where are you at from a cash standpoint? What are your needs? Do you need to put cash in the bank now? Do you have capital? Is your capital patient? Are you able to work it through the cycle? And then finally, the last thing you could do is you create your entity to take down the land and get it entitled and approved for highest and best use. Then you flip that to a development group that you create that's a whole nother entity. You raise the capital to do that. That way you can get paid for the profit in the land, because that's a separate entity, separate deal. Once the land is entitled, the value's created, you flip that land to the development entity at retail, make your profit, then take it vertical from there, and you raise all the capital from investors. So you could get paid for doing the front end work of creating the value in the land for the vertical to happen. Then you become part of the development. You're the developer, and you raise the capital in the development group from investors to take it vertical. So that way you get your payday from the land, and you're a long-term owner in the asset. And then when that's done, you refinance it, cash out all of your investors, and then you have the property moving forward. Hopefully you pulled your equity out, everybody's got their cash back, and then you own the asset moving forward. So those are a few options to consider when you're doing land development and you're thinking about, should you just flip the land? Should you develop the land, flip the finished lots? Should you take it vertical? And what type of asset should you build on it if you do go vertical?